Okay, so last time we met, I asked you a series of questions that were in response to your business that you were wanting to open with your sister, okay? And so basically from those questions, I've come up with a whole heap of information that can be used to help you start your business and make you aware of all your legal responsibilities and legal issues that can occur in the future. Okay, so basically from the information you've given me, there are many different ways that you can run a business, okay? It can be like sole traders, joint ventures, associations, trusts and companies, okay? As well as partnerships, okay? So I think that partnerships for you guys is the best way. It's because it's when both clients who are wanting to start a business with a common view to make profit. Okay, so there's two of you and your sister who want to start a business and you want to make a profit from it, okay? So it's a relationship among individuals who agree to do business together. So nothing too hard there. In your business that you do start with your interior design, you and your sister are both legally responsible for all activities that are present and that occur in the business, okay? So that means that if anything goes wrong in the business or if anything occurs, you are legally responsible, okay? So you must ensure that you are aware that if something goes wrong, what you can do, what your options are, okay? So that's all good. All partnerships are governed under the Partnership Act 1981, okay? So every little bit of information that you need to know about being in a partnership business is all under that act, okay? Each state has a different act, but they're very similar, okay? So basically, for a partnership to be present, there are three requirements that must be required to show that there is a partnership, okay? So the first one is a business must be carried on, so there must be a business. 2, by persons in common, so you and your sister, you are both willing to open an interior design business, so by persons in common. And 3, with a view to make profit. So ultimately, you guys are wanting to do designs in people's homes to make a profit, okay? So all 3 requirements are both there, all right? So if all of these requirements are met, which they are, so you aren't a company at all, it is regarded as a partnership, okay? So if you guys go forward with opening this business, you'll be in a partnership, okay? So basically, once the business starts, you must always act in the best interest of the business, okay? You should never ever act the best interest for yourself, okay? So basically, being in a partnership, it is very similar to being a sole trader, although it is not a separate entity, okay? It states that every partner is an agent and can bind the firm to joint obligations, okay? So both of you guys are entitled to, join and bind the firm and do whatever you want because it's your business, but each partner is jointly and severely liable for tortious obligations, okay? So that means if anything goes wrong, you guys are at fault and you guys have to deal with the consequences, okay? So it's all up to you, but then if something goes wrong, you guys have to deal with it, okay? So basically, what that means is, one thing you guys have to be really careful for in a business is a lot of company owners and sole traders are really unaware of what they are liable for, okay? So you can be liable for a lot more than you think, and this can lead to very serious issues down the track, okay? So before you open your business, it's really best to know what you are liable for so that, we don't have any problems in the future, all right? So basically, just first of all, we'll start about talking about how to start a business, okay? So generally, when you go to start a business, there must be a partnership agreement, whether it's in writing, whether it's verbal, whether you own some land or you have a joint bank account. There must be something that suggests that you guys are in a business together, okay? And they must specify all your rights and obligations and what you want to happen in the business so that down the track there are no problems. It's all in there, black and white, and we can eliminate any future, problems and errors and everything like that, okay? So basically, it must be discussed what key aspects all partners want from the business, and you need to be aware of all your profits and assets, okay, and talk about who's liable and whatnot, okay? So everything must be in writing to make it easier. So firstly, what you do is you just register your name, and then you apply for the relevant licenses and registrations that you're required for, and then you'll receive an ABN and all that sort of stuff, and you'll be all good to go. Okay, so liabilities of partners. So when you join a firm, you can have employees, which you discussed that you were going to hire contractors to do work for you, and so you are responsible for everything that they do. So if something happens to them while during your work hours or while you are paying them, you are responsible. Okay, so it comes from partners, employees, workers, anything you are responsible for. Okay, so it states in the Partnership Act actually that all partners in a firm or partnership are all jointly liable with other partners when it comes to debt and obligations, errors. So even if something happens, you are responsible. Okay, so for example, if your sister or you, something bad was to happen and you could no longer run the business, or even ultimately leads to death, the other party would still be responsible for all the debt or all the obligations, because you are a partnership, you are joined as one. Okay, so basically you are liable for everything in your company. There is nothing you are not liable for. Okay, so if partners were to leave the company, there are certain ways that this can be done, and they have to go through certain procedures. Okay, they don't necessarily need a court order, but they do have to have whether it was discussed at the start that there'd be a set amount of time that they'd stay there for, or it all depends. So basically there are a few different reasons as to why people can leave, and that can be retiring, completion of agreed time or period, they could give you notice saying that they are leaving, bankruptcy, and ultimately death as well, but death is unplanned, and if that happens, they were to leave. So if a partner has decided to leave, they must leave the business, and they are not able to open up any business similar in the area that is able to compete with the original business of the interior designs. Okay, so have to be careful that once you leave, you're gone. Okay, no other business like it. All right. So pretty much the final thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was entering into contracts, sorry, because that is a very, very important topic to talk about, and sometimes people don't actually know whether they have the authority to enter into those contracts. So so basically in a partnership there's two different types of authorities. You have actual authority or apparent authority. Okay, so pretty much in your job title being the co-owner of the partnership, you will have actual authority. Okay, it'll actually be assumed that you have the right to enter into contracts. Okay, so you can enter into contracts with different companies to do hire builders or hire materials and stuff, so you can do that. When it comes to your co-workers though, or the people below you, they might think that their job description is able to enter into contracts, but you guys ultimately need to decide whether or not that is okay. So you need to make sure that these people know what their job title is and whether or not they are allowed to enter into contracts, because this can lead to issues down the track. Okay, so pretty much your workers may think they have apparent authority, but it's just easier if you guys just do the contracting. Okay, so just leave it to you guys, and then there won't be any issues down the track. Okay, so I think I've really covered everything from your questions that you guys have asked. Okay, so you guys have asked about contracts, and I asked you about contracts, if partners were to leave, what your liabilities are, how to start a business. So it's just really a rough overview. So hopefully good luck with your business, and I hope it all goes well, and I hope to see it working well down the track. Thank you.